Good day, everyone. So, today we will talking about the approaches, methods, and techniques for field trips, home visits, and community work. So, the importance of approaches, methods, and techniques class. There are the broader techniques used to help students achieve learning outcomes, and while activities are the different ways of implementing these methods. So, teaching methods help students master the content of the course, learn how to apply the content in a particular context. So first everyone, let us define field trip. So field trip is an educational procedure by which the learners obtain first-hand information by observing places, objects, phenomena, and processes in their natural setting. So my question is, have you experienced field trip? In my case, I experienced field trip in my elementary days. I thought it was fun, but yes, it was fun, but I learned a lot about it, about what happened during that time. Because field trips are rich in educational possibilities as students learn from actual hands-on experiences rather than by simply reading or writing. So I have here the methods of field trip. So methods of field trip class, it describes opportunities for incorporating outside experiences into particular course, or the students regularly visiting or working at one site as part of course project. Field trips pang good everyone. It includes there the involvement in a real-world experiences that makes learning more meaningful and memorable comparing to a regular classroom. So in short, students also learn not only inside the classroom but also outside in the classroom in order for them to visualize what is a real world and also to learn more in a real life examples. So let us move on to the techniques in field trip. So first is plan everything well in advance, of course, and use pre-visit activities to help prepare the students for the field trip. Next is develop clear learning objectives and share them. Next is chaperoning is not a spectator sport. Next is give everyone name tags, of course. Next is keep the students engaged. So the purpose of the field trip is usually observation for education, non-experimental research, or to provide students with experiences outside their everyday activities. So these are the three stages of field trip that is very important for us to know. So the first one stages of field trip is the pre-trip. So it involves there the two major components, which is the administration and the instruction. The administration component involves all the steps taken by the field trip organizer to arrange the logistics of the field trip. Next is the trip. The second stage of successful field trip is the trip itself. Lastly is the post-trip. So this is the stage of a successful trip is the post-trip stage. So it contains two components, which is the debriefing and a culminating activity. So let's move on to the home visit. So home visit everyone refers to meeting the health needs of people or the students at their doorsteps. So the approaches of home visit is can establish positive contact and communication with families. They are not replacement for parent-teacher conferences but are process through which teachers demonstrate their support for students' families by visiting the home environment. This is the location where the family or the students feels at home and comfortable. So let us move on to the techniques of home visit. So first is identify a staff member who has relationship with the family. Choose a staff member. Schedule the visit in advance if possible. Review records, family history, cultural background. Next is prepare informational materials like resources, business cards, or other stuffs. And the most important is be a good listener and monitor your own behavior to the parent because the parent is observing you, not only you. So increases parenting knowledge to the parent-child interaction and involvement, helps the students to prevent abuse and neglect, and it helps increase their school readiness and success.
So we have methods and home visit. So home visit are great beginning to positive communication and relationship between teachers and their students' families. So first, we have visit are always voluntary for educators and family. Home visit are never mandatory. All participants must agree to the visit. Participating teachers and families need to be personally motivated to conduct the visit. However, teachers and families who are initially reluctant to participate in a home visit will often change their mind once they hear about the benefits that home visit have had on other teacher and families. So the second, we have teachers are trained to conduct home visit. Parent-teacher home visit provide training for educators before of the local program, which addresses topics such as the research supporting the model, best practices for coordination and logistics, skill building and practice sessions for engaging families, overcoming common barriers, funding, time, fears, cultural sensitivity, and cross-cultural connection, and applying insight and lesson from home visit to the instructional process. The third, we have the first visit focuses on relationship building. The initial home visit is focused entirely on relationship building between educators and families. And the discussion addressed positive and affirming topics such as the family's hope and aspiration for the child's talent and learning strengths, or how the teacher and parents can work together to support the child's development and educational growth. 4, we have there is no targeting or specific students, families, or group. By not targeting specific students, families, or groups, district and school can avoid negative perception of home visit. For example, if a school decides that home visit will only be conducted with families who live in a certain neighborhood or with the parents or of students who are struggling academically, people are more likely to assume that visits are intended to address problems, not build stronger relationships, and other families may, therefore, be less motivated to participate in a visit. Last but not the least, we have educators always conduct visit in pairs. Pairing teachers help to create a safer environment for both teachers and families, and it also gives visiting teachers someone who can help them reflect on the interaction and how it may be applied in a classroom. Before I proceed to our lesson, I just want to clarify that correct me if I'm wrong about the information nga akong i-relay ninyo. So, in your own word, what is a kanang community? So, let's define it. Community, we mean a group of people that have developed relationship around a strong common interest. So, community work through organizing people to participate in a collective action. One of the defining characteristics of community work is that the focus is on the collective rather than the individual. They emphasizes on strategies that make a difference at a community level and that help build the capacity of communities to address specific issues or to build community capacity and well-being. So, we have three types of community work. First, we have territorial, which working in a specific area with different groups of population. Second types of community work is categorical, which is working with specific groups. And third is we have thematically, so this is working in the field of a specific topic like education or environmental issue. Second, we have methods in community work. Work is a planned process to mobilize communities to use their own social structures and resources to address their own problems and achieve their own objectives. Community work is closely related to work for human rights. The community work process is about people in communities creating opportunities for growth and change. And for example, attention to relationship and analysis for community problem and power. So we have techniques of community work. First, we have force field analysis or FFA for assisting in problem solving and understanding planned change. We have program evaluation review techniques or PERT for scheduling activities to assure successful and timely completion of a community or planning project or in foreseeing and preventing problem. So we have nominal group techniques or NGT for facilitating structured group decision making, assuring full and equal access participation by all members. So we have Delphi for forecasting, future planning, or to obtain a reliable consensus. And last but not the least, we have Q-Short for assisting small or large group to identify and prioritize common concern. For individuals, the benefits can include improved mental health, reduced stress, and increased longevity. And for communities, citizen engaged can enhance decision making and has been shown to improve public health, education, safety, and environmental management. So far, this end our discussion. Thank you for listening. May God bless us all.